Amine and Ese have one daughter, Ifeyinwa, and have been married for 2 years. Amine's dad is Igbo, and his mom is Chadian. His wife, Ese, is Isoko. Mr. and Mrs. Amine and Bacha, where are you from? Tell us a bit about yourselves. Where you're from, what you do for a living, and what you do for fun.
So I guess that question is for me, since I'm the head of the house. Okay, I'm from Abia State. Born somewhere in Chad.
In Chad? Wow.
Yeah.
What's the connection with Chad?
My mom's is from Chad. From Jamaica in Chad. It's a place called Mongo. So.
Interesting.
And so yes, I have a well-traveled father. He was a photographer too. Serious Igbo man that wasn't afraid to travel. And I'm amongst all my siblings, I'm the only one who has actually followed his line of work. So I'm a full-time photographer. Yeah. Okay. What else you want? This young lady, where she's from?
Where are you from?
I'm from Delta State.
Okay. Where in Delta?
Isoko.
Isoko North or South?
Isoko North.
Isoko North. Okay. So your Ese Ogene. What does Ese Ogene mean?
It means God's gift.
God's gift. It's nice. I mean, that's not an Igbo name.
Yes.
So what does it mean?
It means trustworthy. It's an Arabic name. Yeah.
Mean, trustworthy. Have you been able to live up to that name?
I don't want to be proud. I let other people talk about it.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so tell us, how did you meet? Well, first of all, how many years have you been married? If you dated for a long time, how many years did you date before you got married? And how many years have you been married?
Okay, 2 years now. May 16th, 16th of this year, we became 2 years in marriage. So yes, we dated a while, but I met this little girl. I met her in church. Well, I used to worship in Victory Christian Church back in.
So you fell in love with the church girl?
How they say that thing? Now where man they walk, now they chop. So I actually, yes, I was a church boy myself. I am still a church boy, so it hasn't changed much. But I was in choir. I was the boy around church, playing. I was not a very serious-minded person. It's not like I am right now. But I keep telling her this story every time. First day I saw her, I knew her father. I didn't know he had it. I don't know all these men, they'll be hiding their daughters in church. I knew her father. I was not surprised. And when I saw her, I said, no wonder. Her father was in the choir too. It was like a deacon, big bros, So one of those days after service, just fooling around with my friends, gisting, somebody just walked past the church window from outside. Like now, I did not see anything more than her face. It was just her eyes. I mean, if you can zoom in, just pow. As in the eyes were larger than this. Now she's conscious of it, so she always very large eyes. I don't know what she was looking for. I just saw eyes passing through windows. Woo! So I called out my friends like, "Do you guys see that? What's that?" And she walked through the other exit. She entered. So I said, "You guys just look at that girl." See, they didn't understand what I was saying. So I called, "Excuse me." No, because I was a bros in church and I know. She just obeyed, fine boy, because she just came. So she didn't know why I was calling her. And my friends were like, "I haven't called you. Maybe he wants to say something serious." I said, "What's your name?" She said, then she used to call her Sandra. It was very funny. So I said, "You have big eyes."
You said that to her?
It was nothing romantic. It was just, I just wanted to tell her she had. And the boys that were hanging with me, they fell on the floor. They thought I was really going to say something important. And then when they heard that, they laughed their heads up. Like, you're just not. And she was embarrassed. She walked away. But that was the first time. I can't forget. That was the first time I saw her. That was the first time I ever said anything to her. So, but later when I saw her again, maybe the next Sunday, I went to apologize to her, like, hey, sorry, that's not me. I was just excited that day, blah, blah. And we started talking. And, I've always had the camera with me, even if I wasn't doing it professionally. So I serenaded her. I used to take her pictures every Sunday just to cover up for that stuff. So every Sunday I see her in church, like, I'm taking a picture today. You look good. And she'll be running like, no, I don't want pictures. No, I must take your picture today. So she got, in fact, if she doesn't get a picture on a Sunday, she'll not be happy. And I need she used to come and stand around so I'll see her. And I was like, oh, I'll take a picture today. She said, no, I don't want. So then why are you standing here? So that's how I met. So I don't know. Did you see me in your dream?
What was it like for you when he embarrassed you with the whole I statement?
I was speechless. Because I wasn't expecting anything. I just thought he wanted to ask me something. Maybe, I don't know.
Nobody has ever spoken to her and then she had this very mean face. She doesn't smile. Just
no intention.
She was shy.
When he just told me, you have large eyes, I just looked at him and walked away because nothing came to me, nothing came to my mind. I was speechless. I just walked away. I was really angry, like,
So at what point did you guys start dating?
When MTN Midnight Call started.
MTN started so many relationships.
No, but yeah, she was pretty young, so it wasn't like I was. You're young now, small girl. So I did not think anything for her at that time. When they arrested me because she was like 16. I was a lot older. I was a lot older. So yes, I used to just take pictures of her. And in fact, when we really got talking, and I used to go and check up on her every Sunday, like, that's my friend, my Smalley. So one day, I told her, and I asked her how old she was, because she looked grown, but I didn't know her age. She was well formed, behaviorally, all things were in place. So I asked her her age, and she said she was 16. I said, Jesus, you can't be 16. Anyway, when you're 18 and above, call me. I'd like to marry you.
You said that to her?
I kid you not. And I just said it in passing, like, when you're 18 or older, call me. I'd like to marry you. We used to play about, I used to joke about everything, And I was already dating someone then too, so. But she didn't mind, so she laughed. We laughed about it. I said, you're too young. Small girl. But wait, but I know that there's a particular age you need to get to. So when you're there, I'll be waiting for you in front. It looked like it was a joke, but I think I planted a seed in her heart. So she went home.
And that seed grew. It was watered and nurtured.
She did not sleep. Every Sunday when I saw her, she had bags thinking about me.
So at what point did you discover each other's ethnicity? She's Isoko, and at what point did you know that, okay, he's Igbo? And did you have any initial reservations about that?
You want to go? For me, I think I found out she was Delta when I wanted to know her real name. I'm saying Sandra. When I asked her her name, she said it was Sandra. So Sandra to me was just any other girl's name. In fact, there was one dog in my area that was Sandra. No, I'm not joking. There's a dog, we call her Sandra. So I was, you can't be serious. That cannot really be your name. I was like, you're a true African girl. Where are you from? Okay, what's your other name? So that time now, girls will be forming for nothing. No, I can't tell you. No, my name is Sandra. Everybody calls me Sandra. She thought it was Tush. So I forced her to tell me. So she said Ese Ogene. I'm like, Ese Ogene, what does it mean? She said God's gift. Oh, where is that from? That's how I knew she was Delta. And before then, I think she didn't even really think about what her name is. I was like, God's gift. Okay, what does Sandra mean? When I asked her, it was help out men, one thing like that.
Yeah.
It wants to be helping men up and down. My sister, stick to the name that makes sense now. God's gift. So can you imagine? Somehow she changed. She just, she now accepted her true name. So that for me, it wasn't like it made any difference where she was from or not. But I already liked her before I knew where she was from.
And for you, Ese, when you found out he was Igbo?
Well, his name was Amine. In fact, after we met the first time, when we got talking, when we became friends, I asked him, what's your full name? And he said, Al-Amin. He's like, are you Muslim? You do have Muslim background. And yeah, he told me his mother was Muslim and his dad was Muslim before and then got converted and the rest. So I didn't have any, I was indifferent about it.
She really loved the guy. Short,
So even when, okay, your parents, for instance, so you guys didn't have any reservations about your cultural difference. What about your parents, your friends? How did they react when you said, hey mom, hey dad, this is the man I want to get married and he's Igbo? And how did your parents react when you brought home an Isoko girl?
My mom was somebody that was married to an Igbo man, so you can imagine. She was just excited. She thought I was too young to be considering mine. She looked at me like, are you serious? She didn't believe. Yeah, serious. Amine is getting married. She danced. As in my mom actually literally danced. She made fun of it. She was excited. So she didn't really ask where is she from. The only person that would have done that, my dad, he passed before we got married, but he knew her. So he thinks that she's really, she was a nice person. And he got to talk to her a couple of times when we go to visit. So my dad liked her person. He wasn't really, he's not a very tribalistic person yet. So.
Okay then. So, did any of your friends make any funny remarks when you said, for you, for instance, when you said, oh, I'm dating this really great Igbo guy? They didn't make any comment as to, Igbo guy, kid. Do you have the power to do it? Igbo men don't, Was there any funny statement that they made regarding your choice?
Is it your sister's friend?
Okay. First of all, friends. I don't really have people I talk to. But no, none of my friends made any remarks.
Well, your sister's friend.
Oh, what did your sister's friend say?
Igbo men are stingy. I can't forget.
Yeah, she said.
She said Igbo men. Like, what? What does Igbo have? So they are stingy. I'm sure she had it. And she, the funny thing, I'm sure the Igbo thing is not so in her face, because if I stand in the midst of people and they say, Igbo people move this way, I might be the last person to go, because then I'll probably move. I don't remember. That's how
Igbo.
Yes, I don't remember. It's that bad. Maybe because of where I worship, maybe because of the people that I mingle with. I just want to learn everybody's language if I can, so I'm not really been interested.
What's your relationship with your father-in-law?
He's my guy. My father-in-law is down to. In fact, I used to tease her that I knew her father long ago, that we used to hang out. No, that's not true. But I used to tease her a lot. But if you see, when I go to the house, in fact, the first day I visited her house, not Christian home. You can't just go and say you're going to block chick. And they knew me in church, so I thought I was going to come. She begged me, don't come to my house, please, don't come. She begged me. I said, today, I'm going to her house. Because you can't get her to come out. And you see her in church, that's all. Once service closes, her father takes her home. So I was going to go to her house and damn all the consequences. So I got to her house and I rang the bell. She came out first. She came because she knew I was coming. So I rang the bell. She came and she was begging me at the door. My father is at home, please go. I kept ringing the bell. So the father said, "Oh, that." They allowed me to come in. Do you know? She went inside. It was just me and the dad. He was surprised that I came to the house because he knew me in church. So he was like, "Eh, Amine came to my house today." He opened a bottle of wine for me, and that was how we sat down. We were just gisting. We didn't say anything about the daughter before they changed something for me, but it was really fun. And that was not the first time I spoke to him though, but that was the first time I was going to his house. So he kind of created a different bond. And so anytime I felt like I was just perhaps him, and I would greet us, chill out with the family, she would go and hide in the room. So my father-in-law is an amazing person. Very down to earth. Very, very.
And for your traditional marriage, did you have a traditional Isoko marriage?
Yeah, but it wasn't so like traditional.
What wasn't so traditional about it?
Were they speaking Isoko?
Oh, they did now. You were inside now. I will be the one to tell you about it. They only brought her out to, show, is this the person? I asked her, hey, is this who you want to marry? But it was very traditional. I tied wrapper that day. I said, like, that's not a very Igbo thing.
Yeah, that was the first time now.
Exactly. So, and it was dripping off my waist. So, yeah. So I tied like one big wrapper, bundled it up here, carrying, then the walking stick and the hat was. Yeah. So, I was looking very different that day. I was smiling all through. The attire alone was something to smile about. So yes, I had what you call an authority, somebody that was my spokesperson. So you have to come with somebody who will interpret their language, that understands their culture, and then can stand in for you because you're coming from a different ethnic group. So yes, it was very interesting. It was very interesting. They didn't overdo anything. Then they have this thing with supporting cola. That was very fascinating for me. Then if somebody brings, they will present cola nuts when you come. They are your in-laws. When we got there, they entertained us. They gave us drinks and then they gave us cola.
So, how many kids do you have kids? Do you have kids?
Oh yeah, just one we have.
For now.
For now. I like that. There's plans for more. Did you see his face? So, is it a boy or a girl?
We have a baby girl.
Okay, what's she called? Her name?
Ifeyinwa.
That's a very Igbo name.
In fact, I had to do that. We did that intentionally.
Really? Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, because everybody thinks I'm from a different tribe. It's not like it matters. So, and I don't correct them. So when someone sees me, I don't even dress Igbo. I don't think I have any Igbo clothes or pants. So, and then the name doesn't sound anything Igbo. So when people, when they hear my daughter's name, they go, "Oh, so your wife is Igbo?" And I said, "No, I'm Igbo." And my neighbors that lived for over 2 years, 3 years, they're like, "What do you mean by that?" So they would just scatter the table, like, eh? So because we are majorly Igbos in this compound, so when they now found out that I was Igbo and then I've not been hanging with the crew, sitting down, doing all the other things, they started speaking Igbo that I don't understand. So yes, I like the fact that I have that Igbo name in the house. She has other names. In fact, she has many other names. So she has a Yoruba name.
Oh, what's her Yoruba name?
Oyinkansola.
Oyinkansola.
What does it mean?
It means
Honey.
that's added to wealth.
Yeah.
So she's that honey that's added to wealth.
And she has an Isoko name, I imagine.
Ogeneru Kewe.
Ogeneru Kewe. Let me see if I can translate that. It is God who did this for me. And too much. So how?
She has an epic name.
What's her epic name?
Edith Mabasi. That's God's blessing.
God's blessing.
Oh, that's nice. So you're really like a Pan-African, or should we?
In fact.
She has an Hausa name too.
She has a Hausa name?
Yeah.
Okay, what's her Hausa name?
Umi Fatima.
What does it mean?
My mother's name is Fatima. So, but we can call her name is Fatima. Yeah. So we call her Umi. That's mother. Just as a sign of respect for mom. So we'll call her Umi. Yeah.
Did you give her an English name?
Oh yeah. Hadassah.
Hadassah. What is Hadassah?
To be righteous.
Righteous. Nice.
That's Esther's.
Yeah, that was
Hebrew. Esther in the Bible. That's her Hebrew name.
When she gets her passport, good luck with fitting up.
She'll probably decide that when she's older.
So so you've given her an Igbo name. Obviously, there's a desire to pass on some aspect of your culture. What other aspects of your culture do you hope to pass down? This is also for you too. Do you hope to pass on to your daughter? Is it even important for you to be able to do that?
Well, the little I know, I'll pass it on to her. I don't know much. But the little I know, I'll pass it on to her. Like, I'll greet him. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, Tigwe, say mom, Migo. And she's looking at me, I'm like, I like her to do that, when she's old enough. Yeah.
Well, for me, when you get to visit your hometown, there's this amazing atmosphere or experience that you have with your siblings, your cousins, your family. There's you can't. It's different in the city. All right. So yes, I like her to know her people. Yes, but personally, I accept everybody. I've never drawn a line from anybody. For anybody, I'm not saying, oh, these are Yorubas or these are Hausas. I'm indifferent with that. But there's this thing about where you're from that I didn't know until I started visiting my hometown. Oh no, they make you, they celebrate you. You're like royalty when you come home. They take you to your hometown, they show you your compound, then they tell you your grandfather's story, how he was a king. When you come to Lagos, when you're in the city, nobody cares where royalty, how. So yes, I liked it. I like that. I like her to know where her roots are, where she is from, where her ancestors are from. It's not like it's going to change who she is or who she will become. But she'll have everybody's got. If you're going to have a future, you could as well know where you're coming from. Know your history. Yeah. So
I mean, what's the craziest stereotype you've ever heard about Isoko women?
I was not in the crazy. Okay. I've not really heard anything crazy about them. Real stereotype about them. I know there's this myth that they are, but I think it's a positive one. That they don't flex in marriage. They're faithful. They're very faithful in marriage. I think they have this thing with if you mess around, you might just end up killing someone in your family, like so they're not like they want to, they are compelled. I don't know, but for me, I'm not. That's not anything near what the reason why she's my wife. So
okay, so do you like the Isoko dishes?
Oh, awesome.
What's your favorite?
Banga soup. I think that's the best thing that she does in the house. So, yeah, amazing.
Things have changed, right? We know that people are more open now. What would you say is the reason for this shift in perception? Or would you say people are more open in general to interethnic love? I mean, what would you say is the reason for this change?
I'm not so experienced, but if I break it down, I'll say in that era, people kind of maintain their catchment area. This is our village. This is all they knew. We didn't have road networks. People didn't travel as much compared to this age where people have migrated over time. A lot of people have moved from villages to cities. People want to go and look for better lives. Our grandfathers have moved from one city to another. So reproduction have we left family members in cities, and also we have other ethnic groups also move to cities. So you're dealing with people from two different lifetime. So in that era, you will not say they were really strict about marrying from. That's all they had. The girl next door, the girl in the village, So they didn't have that big dream. They were not so open. And even the conflicts they even had were nearby village conflicts. So let's not marry from this village, But now everybody is in the city. We're more civilized. We don't. People that are in Lagos, let's use Lagos as an example, and they'll probably go to the same religious circle or social circle. They don't they don't usually think of, for me, tribe was never the reason for mingling. One's ethnic group or cultural difference is not the basis. If I even knew their name, or I do, probably was interested in how she looked, So yes, I think that's true.
Okay. Well, what's the language of communication? Do you speak your language first of all? Do you speak your language?
No, I do speak a different language, but not mine.
Well, which of them do you speak?
I quite want, but I think it's Efik. I speak Efik.
Wow, you speak Efik?
Yeah.
How come? Where did you learn to speak Efik?
My cousins. I have cousins who my uncles married from Akwa. So at the point in my life, I thought I was from there. So yes.
Okay. So apart from Efik, do you speak any other Nigerian language?
Oh, Yoruba.
Oh, okay. And so at home, what do you speak with your wife?
Aside from Chadian, yeah. English.
Okay, so there's no Nigerian language you guys.
Oh, we like to try our hands on Hausa.
Ah.
I love that language.
Okay.
That's one Nigerian language that I really love. So my Hausa is better than Igbo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And your wife, does she speak some Hausa?
Yes, she does. She jumbles a lot of stuff for me. It's I think that's one other language that she picked up, besides from her mother's tongue. So yes, she does justice to it.
Would you say to an extent, like being married to an Igbo man has changed your perception of just people who are different from you, whether it's culturally or religion-wise, or maybe people from a different social background? Do you think that the way you relate with them has evolved because you're with someone who's different from you?
Well, I never had any bad side of saying this particular religion is this, or so getting married to him didn't really change anything because I never had any bad aspects.
Okay. For instance, with stereotypes, like Nigeria is a country that we have 300 something ethnicities, and there's always a stereotype for every ethnic group. Mm-hmm. What were the ones you grew up with? The really strange ones you grew up with? Maybe let's be more specific. Strange stereotypes you had about Igbo people, and then Igbo men in particular.
Igbo men. I just heard they like money. And they used to get married late. Maybe in their late 30s or 40s. Okay. Yeah. Well, my husband is different. In fact, when I met him, I didn't even know he was Igbo. He doesn't look it, he doesn't act like them,
So you said act like them. So it means that some of the Igbo men you met had a certain way of acting.
Yeah.
So how's your husband's demeanor or personality different from the typical Igbo?
Okay. Some Igbo people are egocentric. They have this I'm the man of the house kind of thing,
okay.
you know. But my husband isn't. He's not like that, you know. He treats me like I'm the head. So yeah, I think that's it.
What was your experience like the first time you spent your husband's hometown?
Wow. Very funny because that's my first time in forever going to any village. I've never been to my village before.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't funny, but now I can laugh. Because my husband's village is close to this Isialangwa village, I think. So while we're going there, the bike we took, I think we got lost along the way, and it was dark already. And the bushes were so thick, and the bike man said, "We're somewhere in Isialangwa village," and I screamed.
Why? Why did you scream?
Because I heard that they eat humans.
Oh.
So I was so scared. I was like, no way. If they ask me, what will I say? You're Igbo and I'm not eating you, so they can eat me up. You know, and he was like, stop panicking. I was close to tears already. I was like, no. Something bad is going to happen. I was like, no, calm down. And later we called and we figured out the way. Well, my husband's village, it's a village. You know, there's no light. The mosquitoes there are terrible, you know. But it was nice. It was a good experience after all. You know.
So what did you take away from it? What was it about? Because you know, in every I'm a firm believer that every cloud has a silver lining, right? So visiting his place, even with some of the unpleasant things you experienced, what was the thing that you found special about it?
The togetherness. Everybody's acting as if, while we were there, somebody else would bring food. They were acting like one big family. The compound was big, people coming to say hello, how you doing? We wake up in the morning, somebody's there to ask you, how you doing? What do you want to eat? It was different from city where everybody on your own. But village that's one thing I liked about their village, the togetherness. Yeah.
There's been a lot of agitation, ethnic conflicts and agitations with Biafra on one side, Udua on another side, Arewa, and then what's the other one? Niger Delta too. What is your take on all this? And how do you see our future as a country, especially being in an interethnic marriage?
This one is dicey. When it comes to, most of the things that have brought about crisis and it's still reoccurring is on unresolved grudges. So we have human beings that are not forgiving. They even the ones that tend to forgive or say they have forgiven, they haven't forgotten. So when you step on, or when they have every opportunity to vent, they capitalize on the wrongs that were done to their people. And I think it's out of greed. One of the major problems we have is greed. Everybody is saying my people, my person, my. So tribalism has really divided the country, which is sad. Sad. And for me, because like I said, I've never really been a tribalistic person. Those things just, I've never seen Nigeria divide. Yes, there's a lot of things, there's a lot to be done. There's a lot of, but we need a lot of, we need selfless leaders. People who will really sit down and think. So now start talking about separating from the country, Nigeria itself. We tried it, and a lot of lives were thrown away. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. And if you go and watch the documentaries of, and I'm sure those were just a glimpse of the real thing that really happened in Biafra, because you can't catch everything on camera. Yeah, there is a lot more that we're not told. So I think it's safe to pray for a better country, a greater Nigeria. Yeah. I believe in that.
Intertribal unions can be beautiful and exciting. They can also help demystify other cultures, encourage social cohesion, and promote a sense of togetherness. However, they should not be over-romanticized or seen as a panacea for all of Nigeria's problems. Navigating unfamiliar cultural norms and practices can be quite daunting, especially with in-laws who are very traditional. In fact, many mixed unions have buckled under the pressure of in-laws and conflicting cultural belief systems. So how does one have a fulfilling intercultural marriage? What's the one advice, or maybe a lot of advice you would give them as to how to handle that? How do you, say you love someone that's from a different ethnicity, how do you have a peaceful marriage with them? What are the tips?
No tips. Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. As long as you're marrying your friend, I always emphasize friendship. Our story is very different. She was my friend for over a year. We dated for almost 11 years and we're married for almost 6 years now. So it's not easy. When I say, people like, what? 11 years? What took you so long? Why are you guys doing? Are you sure? In fact, when we had the trad, I met a new friend who was saying, oh, you're not married 11 years. Me, I dated one girl 8 years. I did not marry her. And I was like, guy, I just did trad last month, so forget it. If you build friendship over a period, every other thing will fall in place. It's not rocket science. There's no hard way to it. What is important is friendship. If you understand your partner, so to speak, you find it easier to handle and deal with whatever situation you find yourselves in. And that's just it. It's just go with the flow. There's no planning. There's no trying to find a way around it. Whatever it gives or whatever comes your way, you find an equal way of addressing it and you'll be fine and be happy.
Well, from where I stand, there's no such thing as interethnic. Those are social constructs, Marriage itself is a very, very serious organization as it is. So, permit me to say, the Bible allows us, it says, a man will leave his father and his mother. So there has to be a separation from my people, my tribe, for you to be able to cleave to a person. She might be from your village and you are still distant, because you're going to, if you're tribalistic, you're still going to say, these are my own family people, this is my blood. That's very, very, that's greed itself. That's what we're still talking about. So you have to be selfless to even consider marrying another person and then loving that person with everything that you are, and for her to even believe in me, because I wasn't always like this, as skinnier, you have no idea, and let's not even go there. So for her to even want to accept my kind of person and leave the comfort in her own home to follow somebody like me, that's selflessness. So you need to consider all of that before you go into marriage. And if you're already in it, you need to start to clear your mind about it. Die to yourself daily so you can actually enjoy your marriage. My pastor will say, your work, your job in marriage is to please one person. One. How hard can that be? As in, every day you wake up, all you need to do is please one person. As in debunk all the other, pleasing my father-in-law, my mother, all those other things can be very distracting. So it helps.
I would say, first of all, follow your mind. Be sure of what you want to do before you get into it. Now, when you want to get married to someone that is from a different tribe, and you already have an idea of the things, the differences, or the things that can pose challenges, try and prepare for such situations. And do not hold on to your own cultures, because that is what you know and where you're coming from. I mean, be flexible enough to embrace the culture of your partner. That way, friction will be limited and reduced. Then you can live happily ever after.
Happily ever after.
Well, yes.
Right. If you're, in my opinion, if you're considering marrying a person of a different tribe, the first thing I would say is go home. Go to her home. Meet her parents. It's not about, you're not marrying a tribe. You're marrying a person. Where was that person raised? Who were the people responsible for the raising of that particular person you're considering marrying? The value system of that person is derived from the home from whence he or she came. So if her home is decent, i.e., if you go there and you find that they cohabit successfully, they are a good family, they raise good children, goodly children, then your 90% of your problem is solved. 90% of whatever problem you might have is resolved. You come to terms with the reality that both of you are coming from the same place, right? If you're not coming from the same place, i.e., if her upbringing. Now, a person may have been raised under, how do I call it now? A shaky background. Maybe she was raised in an orphanage, or he was raised in the streets. That's not the problem. The problem is, what value system has the person imbibed? Is the person selling the street culture? Is he trying to propagate that street culture he was raised in? Or is she trying to propagate the street she was raised in, or the orphanage she was raised in? That's what's important. What are you going to pass on to your children? If the person, on the other hand, was raised on the streets, but has learned street life and has rearranged their psyches that, look, I come from X, I'm going back all the way to A. I want to start afresh. I want to raise goodly children. I want this kind of life. I want the peace. Then you're good. Whether the person is Hausa, Igbo, or Yoruba, those ones are small things. Those can be resolved. It's a language difference. We can speak English, it's okay. At the end of the day, that's what it is, you know. So I think the upbringing of a person and the direction, the mental direction of that person are the most critical things to look out for, not the tribe or race or all of that.
Thank you so much for just being the kind of people you are, really, because it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Oh, nothing. I love you, darling.
It's been a pleasure. It's been our pleasure.
Nigeria is a beautiful kaleidoscope of cultures and ethnic groups who unfortunately haven't always lived in harmony. From the Jos riots of 1945 to the Kano revolts of 1953 to the Tiv uprisings that took place between 1960 and 1964 to the 1965 conflicts in the Southwest to the mother of all conflicts, the Biafran War, which took place from 1967 to 1970, and the recent Boko Haram attacks, Nigeria's existence has been rife with ethnic clashes. While it's true that these conflicts fostered distrust among Nigerian groups, they are not its genesis. Once upon a time, Nigeria's cultural groups lived in homogeneous, close-knit communities. They shared a common language, culture, values, religion, and even goals. There were no road networks, and the means of transportation were less than convenient. So people interacted with only folks in their communities. Their clan was what was familiar, comfortable, and safe. So it was only natural that they chose spouses within their societies. The English language, which became a lingua franca during colonization, fostered communication and interaction amongst people from different cultures. Urbanization took people to other parts of Nigeria. The advent of new information and communication technologies also brought exposure to different cultures and lifestyles. Road networks and faster means of transport made it easier for people to travel and migrate to other parts of Nigeria, to live, work, school, and interact with people from different ethnicities. The National Youth Service Program and Unity Schools also facilitated social integration, birthing many intercultural friendships, relationships, and marriages. The spread of Christianity and Islam brought about strong religious ties, which replaced the cultural ties that bound the Generation Xers and those before them, making it easier for a Northern Christian to marry a Southern Christian and a Northern Muslim a Southern Muslim. And with time, the ethnic other became a bit more familiar. Interethnic unions come with their charm and several challenges, but with patience, openness, tolerance, commitment, and love, loving the other is possible and even pleasurable.